What's up, Neil? How's it going?
Hey, Cal. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
I'm doing great, thank you. How about yourself?
I am doing very well. This is actually episode 1 of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
As we always said, we did it.
I can't believe it. We did it.
And after 1 full season, we're still doing it somehow. Right? Who knew?
Indeed.
And with us, we have our special guest, Paul Grasso. Paul, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey,
absolutely. So, not to put any pressure on you, Paul, but you are the first guest of season 2. We finished strong, I think, in season 1, Neil. We did
Absolutely.
a good job. I think you did excellent. It is definitely good to be back after, about 3 months? 3
Yep.
months. And Paul, you just kind of fell in our lap today, didn't you?
Hopefully I can set the bar high for the season opener.
Absolutely. And I think you're going to fit the bill just right. So actually, our history goes back decades, although me and you just met like 2.5 months ago.
Yep.
So I played soccer with your brother Tom. Knew your family, growing up all the way basically through high school. And then we all went our separate ways. And actually, Ryan Maxey, who was a guest last season, played with us. But never actually met you until it was October 10th when me and Maxey went to Ben Harper.
Yep.
At the Royal Oak Music Theater. And, we're on our way down, and all of a sudden I get a message from Tom, your brother. He's like, hey, I'll be there. I'm like, sweet, meet up for a beer or whatever. It helps that Tom and Paul, they're like 6'8". So Tom finds us right away, and then all of a sudden, he's like, holy shit, there's my brother.
Right.
He had no idea that Paul was even going to be there. So
No, Tom and I had worked together all day. And then at the end of the day, all right, you have a good night. And then next thing you know, I go down with my group of friends, and I'm there talking to him. I look over, and I'm like, hey, my brother's over there, Kind of surprised. He should have been asking me, though. Like, I go to, 20, 30 concerts a year, where
right.
Tom goes to, like, 2 or 3. Like, oh, Paul might be down there. Maybe I'll say something.
Well, we'll have him on, and we'll get his side of that.
All right.
Funniest thing is you guys are sitting there working together all day.
Right.
But, work's work, right?
Exactly.
But Ben Harper, man, that was always a sweet show.
Yeah. I've been seeing him for years, and always just puts on a phenomenal live show.
And I mean, Royal Oak Music Theater, which is iconic for Michigan, right? Maybe 1,700, 1,800 people, maybe 2,000.
Yeah, I think around 2,000.
But it feels a lot smaller because it has the balcony level.
Yeah.
The mezzanine. So you have people up there. So, I felt like I could touch them.
Right, yeah.
My shirt almost did.
Right. That's right. I remember seeing that fly up on the stage.
Not my shiniest moments.
He played soccer, not football.
So at that point, I think I was like 2 or 3 people back. I hadn't pushed all the way up yet. And I'm like, been posting Ben Harper, stories and stuff, and he's actually looking at them. I'm like, shit, but never, engages or follows or anything. Well, I had my 2 Dudes shirt on. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, fuck it. I have something else on underneath. So I'm in, trying to, look like a T-Rex taking this shirt off. And then I throw it like one. And it lands right on the stage in between Ben Harper and the bass player. And it was up there for, the last 7 or 8 songs. Never even looked at it. Sat there the entire time. They walk off the stage, right? And I go up there, and it's still there, and everyone's leaving, and they're telling me I got to leave. I say to the guy that's cleaning up, I'm like, hey, can you make sure Ben gets that shirt? Next thing he goes, who? I'm like, oh, shit. I wanted to say, can I just have the damn thing back? But no, that was a super cool show. And you mentioned, how many times do you think you've seen Ben Harper then?
I'm probably 12, 13 times. Yeah, I've seen him. I caught him down in Austin City Limits a few times. I used to travel for work, so I caught him in Georgetown by Washington, D.C. one time with some friends.
Nice.
So I've seen him quite a bit. So
I've probably seen, I would say probably 7 now, 7 or 8.
Like the first time was Dave Matthews Band when Dave was blowing up in like I think it was '96, and he was the opener. So I'm like, I hadn't heard him. I'm like, I'll go check him out.
I think we were probably there, and I think it was Ben Harper, Freddie Jones Band, and Dave Matthews.
Yeah,
it was a three.
Okay,
and I remember that was the first time I ever really saw Ben Harper, and it was Pine Knob.
Yep.
And if you're looking at the stage, he was like in the very front left corner and just never got off the slide. Right. That was like right when he was his like first album.
Exactly.
So he was just jamming the whole time, like, holy crap, what the hell is this?
Exactly.
This is amazing.
Exactly.
And then Freddie Jones came on behind, and then Dave Matthews. That was when like one of their first or second like big
tours.
We were Pine Knob. And I saw Ben Harper. That was one of my solo concerts in Cincinnati.
All right.
And then in San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were. That was when Paul infamously took the nap.
Yeah. And
not this Paul.
No, I have a brother Paul. Yeah. It was an outdoor in San Diego at some college.
And Jack Johnson
opened up.
Yeah.
And then they did some songs together. That was super cool. So what is it? You've obviously been to like hundreds of shows. We got all the concert stuff or ticket stubs. We got the spreadsheet, which you're going to get into. But what is it about live music for you? Like, when did it start? What was the first show, and how did it just get out of control?
Well, it started with my mom, kind of. Not the live music, but the love of music. Okay. My mom always had to have the radio on in the house, tape playing in the car, always music on. Like, whereas I'd get in the car after my dad, and it'd just be silent. So she got me to start loving music, and then I started having an older sister to kind of put music in front of me, and then like the Police. In 5th grade, I was super into the Police. I wanted to go see them. They were doing their Synchronicity final tour. I wanted to go see it, and the parents were like, no. You're in 5th grade, you're not going. So
Neil's a huge Sting fan.
Okay,
talented. I just think he's too much because he's a good-looking man, talented. It's like, what else can you got going for him? I'm over here trying to do a podcast.
Right.
Stuart Copeland is an awesome drummer.
Yeah. So I did finally get to see him at the Palace. I think they did a reunion tour, maybe early 2000s. I finally got to see him. But so that, fed my love of music. Then finally, 1986, summer after 8th grade, INXS is touring. I'm like,
nice.
Mom, Dad, I want to go to this. And me and my friend Billy, they drop us off at Meadowbrook. This is, we're 13 years old, just after 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
Just drop us off and like, all right, we'll pick you up at the same spot afterwards. Where it's like a different scene nowadays because it's like cell phones linking up with people.
They're like, all right, we survived.
Right, yeah. They're like,
I never met anyone, never got home.
Yeah, exactly. Like, enjoy the show. Hopefully we'll see you in 2.5 hours.
I can't believe you saw INXS.
Yeah.
I love INXS.
I know.
Yeah, I got to see him a few times. Like there was the Meadowbrook, and I saw him again at Pine Knob. But
Meadowbrook's so.
And that's amazing that your first show was INXS.
Yeah, no, it's like a lot of people have like, I don't know if I want to tell you what my first show is.
Mine was Aerosmith, 1990. Aerosmith, the Pump Tour.
So that's a good
Joan
one.
Jett opened up. It was a good bill. I was 15.
Exactly, because when you're 13, 14, you're making questionable decisions sometimes in music. And
that was the same thing. We went with my friend's mom, but she drove us there, and then they used to have the parents' quiet room. And then we went to the concert, so just 3 15-year-olds just like owning the world.
Right.
It was awesome. That was it. From that point forward, I'm like, I got to go to more of these.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So that just fueled me. Then after that, it just kept building and building, and then
So what is it about the actual shows when you get in there?
It's special. It's, that night, it's the stories they're telling, the connecting with the audience, especially like when you see people that come through like and play the same ones, because they're traveling all over and they come back to Detroit, and I like going to the smaller venue shows now, like Magic Stick, the Arc, the Magic Bag, it's a little more intimate, but it's just something about it. It's
and that I always wrestle with that, right? Because some of the bands I want to see, they're only in the stadiums, right?
Right.
So it's like, and not to mention the cost of that.
Yeah, and it's hard to justify. Like I'll see somebody, like I saw the Avett Brothers a couple times at the Arc,
Nice.
Love
And,
the
you know,
approach.
just little tiny place or whatever. And it's like, well, I don't want to go see him at the Fillmore now with, you know,
Right.
6,000 people. I got to see him with 300 people. I want to go back to that.
Which, yeah, like when we went to Magic Bag and saw Mudhoney. Oh, my God. That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, one of the best all-around shows I've been to in a long time. Another venue, the Majestic Theater in Detroit, where it's just basically an open area with a stage and a bar.
Right. Yeah,
You know,
that
pretty
one.
much. But Bakar, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No. Oh, yeah. Actually, yeah. More recent stuff,
Yes.
right? Yes.
Yeah. And he's coming in like June. I'm like, God, I haven't been to Majestic in a long time. You know, I know a handful, like 6 of his songs or something.
Right.
It's super cool to get back there, you know.
No, my
Something like that.
youngest would probably want to go because I think he's blowing up on TikTok. At least one of his tunes. Like, oh yeah, this is on TikTok, Dad.
And speaking of smaller venues, we touched on it before we started recording, but the sweatshirt that you have on, the Heartless Bastards.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You and I were actually at the same show and didn't know it.
Right, I was a tall guy in front of you while interviewing.
But thankfully, I was able to sit up on the ledge there, so I was able to see. But
I
yeah,
know, we always talk about this question too. What is it about it? You know, and it's just it always comes back to it's like the energy.
Yeah.
It's the anticipation leading up to it. You know, the small venues. Like when I walked in to see Ben Harper, and I'm like, holy crap. You know, like you're so close.
Right.
And then you go to Comerica or LCA or something like, you know, and if you ain't paying $500, you ain't seeing shit.
Right, exactly.
So you end up paying more for the experience and saying you've
Right.
been there more than the, you know, we got coming up, Royal Oak Music Theater again is Portugal the Man, which is in February.
That might be a fun one.
yeah, you should go.
A lot of the
bro.
times it's like where I'm on the fence or whatever, and then I'll get a call like 2 days before. Hey man, I got extra tickets for this. You want to go? Like I've got 2 friends that are veterans, and they're on this service called VetTix.com. So they're always getting free tickets through that. So like I'll be like, I don't know if I want to go to that show. He's like, oh, I just got free tickets for it, Paul. I'm like, all right, twist my arm.
So that you were telling me about that. We went and saw Liz Phair at the Masonic, the Cathedral.
Yeah, the
You
cathedral.
had to set me straight.
Right,
I'm like,
'cause there's-
oh my God, I'm finally at the Masonic.
Yeah.
And we meet, you know, in between the bands. He's like, you gotta understand this is the cathedral. It's not
Right, so
really
there's-
the temple.
Yeah, because there's a big venue, the Masonic
Yeah.
Temple, but then they have a smaller cathedral to the side. That you
Jeez,
know,
I didn't know.
yeah,
I had no idea. So we're at the cathedral for
right,
Liz Phair.
which is better. It's smaller, it's more intimate.
That was a really
yeah.
cool show. And actually,
Right on.
Blonde Shell opened up, who was
Yep.
actually really good too.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
That's something in my older age. I'm actually going way ahead of time, seeing the opening acts and finding out that, holy crap, some of these bands really are awesome.
Yeah.
Hoover 3 before Mudhoney, Blonde Shell before Liz Phair, and I think you guys said All Right Maybes.
Yep.
Did a
Okay.
pretty good
Before
job
the
before
Heartless
Heartless Bastards.
Yep.
So it's like I always used to be the guy pre-party and then get in there right before that first song.
Right.
starts,
No,
you
the
know,
openers, and then if you like them, you can go hang out at the merch booth afterwards. and, you know.
Yeah.
My favorite story with an opener. So there's this guy Anderson East. We ended up seeing him like 3 times in a 6-month span, and he was opening for all these different bands. So like by the 3rd time, I'm like, this guy seems familiar. Like, but his best line when he came out on stage, he's like, hey. Thank you guys for coming out. I'm just the opener, and I realize the opener is just kind of like a blind date you didn't ask for. So thanks for listening.
And that happened to us at Mudhoney.
Yeah. Hoover.
I found out from our buddy saw him in Chicago a couple days before, and they have readers. And my eyes are starting to go. I'm like, well, you know what? I've never had a pair. I want to get the Mudhoney one. So I wanted to get there early. And I got in the merch line. Neil went and grabbed beers, I think, and Kennedy went and stood in the spot. You know, so I'm standing there, and you know, people are talking, and I'm like, whatever. You know, 20 people are in there at this point, right? And I notice this guy sitting there, and he's got Hoover sweatshirt. And I'm like, oh, are you the merch guy for the band? Like, you travel around with him. The next time he goes, I'm in the band. I'm like, oh, shit, man, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm from Two Dudes because I posted them on my story earlier, and they liked it. Actually, they shared it or whatever. He's like, oh wait, you're the two dudes guy. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I'm like, so what do you do in the band? Lead singer.
It pays to do a little bit of homework. Like, I'll double check. I'll look on Wikipedia or find.
I'm like,
pictures.
sorry, man. I'm like, honestly, just heard about you like 2 days ago. But then after they played, like you said, I went and talked to them and got a picture. They're super cool, and I tell you what, Hoover 3, you need to check them out.
And they're young dudes.
Yeah, and they're out of L.A. And they just wrapped up with Mudhoney. It was a huge tour. I mean, small venues, but
Right.
Honestly, it was like 30 days.
And they were having a fucking blast.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure hanging out with Mudhoney. I mean,
and it's one of those. It was a 5-piece, drums, which is like front and center because the drummer was insane. Guitar, bass, saxophone, and keyboard. So it was like this eclectic group of and all the songs. I mean, it wasn't just you couldn't say, oh, they sound like this because they were all over the board. It was sweet. But back to like the openers. Yeah, here we are. We're talking about stuff that I never thought I would even be on my radar.
Right,
3 months ago.
No, you go in and like a lot of times I'm like, okay, I'm not even going to listen to them. I'm going to let them wow me. Check them out and see.
So
that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
I agree 100%. And I actually posted this poll on LinkedIn. Do you listen to the band on the way to the concert, or do you not?
I usually don't. Like, I don't.
I never.
Like, I'll do it if I rope some friends in that I don't know who we're going to see. I'm like, all right, here's some tunes. But for me, no, I don't.
No, I never do either.
Yeah.
Do you?
No.
Yeah. We rode together a lot of times.
Yeah.
Never. But you know what? I was like, it was 20-some votes, and like 80% people listened to it on the way there, which I was like, shocked. Wow. And then I was like, I said, do you listen to it on the way? And then tailgate, ? One was like, tailgate? I get in as soon as possible. Have a couple of beers. Right. Especially in the summer shows and stuff.
Well, even the winter shows, like before the Heartless Bastards, we get down to Ferndale, go get some food at Howe's, and that's half the time, like at those places, so when we saw TDaKT about a month or so ago, walk in and lead singer John McCauley sitting at the bar drinking a martini. It's like
where'd you see TDaKT at?
They were at the Magic Bag also. Yeah,
right on.
Yep, that's I got underneath.
Love it.
I'm not familiar with TDaKT.
I know like a song or two from our buddy Keith.
Yeah.
Okay.
Check him out. It's kind of he's got a raspy kind of whiskey drenched voice, but rock from Providence. I wouldn't say southern rock, but it's kind of a folky rock or whatever. But
okay, almost like Uncle Tupelo or early Wilco.
It's like not quite as country, more towards the rock side, but similar. Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to check that out for sure. So another show that me and you just went to, the Liz Phair one. So that one was interesting because I actually. Of course, I always ask everyone in my family, anyone want to go? No. Contact my brother because he was like a huge, he was like any woman singer in the 90s, he was all for it.
Right.
And I remember Shaq has said, Paul go to Lil Phair? Right. Which he probably would have, but no. Liz Phair.
Shoot, I went twice.
But so, when you look at the lineups, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
And, Liz Phair was like, say, you want to go? It's the 30th anniversary of Exile in Guyville. And he's like, oh, that'd be awesome. Oh, it's a Sunday. I can't do that.
Yeah.
And me and Neil are saying, we love the Sunday show.
I do.
Yeah, because you can go down there early, grab something to eat. You have that full day. Monday's a little rough at work, but Sunday,
I tell you what, if I'm loading up PTO, a lot of times I'll take the day off next day.
When we saw Mudhoney at the Magic Bag, when he ended, he goes, all right, we're done. Have fun at work tomorrow. It was such a downer. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to have a great day at work
After
tomorrow.
he's doing all his work and everything. It was awesome. But no, that show, so no one would, I couldn't get anyone. So I was like, the day before, I'm like, you know what? I looked at my wife, fuck it, I'm going.
Yeah.
She was like, all right, well, then go. It's a Sunday show, so I headed down there by myself. That was the third time ever. First was Ben Harper, and then 2 days later was Fish, and then I hadn't done it in like 20-some years. And of course, I'm doing all my social media because I'm that guy now. And of course, he's like, hey, I'll be there. So we met up in between. What'd you think of that show?
It was great. Like, seeing Exile in Guyville just straight through from beginning to end, it transported me back to my college days.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, and I was never a huge Liz Phair fan, but for me, it was almost like I needed to be there.
Right.
Because it took you back to that time, and it was.
Oh, yeah.
And I hate to say it, going to a concert alone is pretty fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? You don't have no responsibilities. You don't have to deal with anything.
Right.
Yep.
You are on whatever you want to do, and you don't have to worry about if the person doesn't really like it or they're not having a good time, and you're just fucking in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to probably do more of that.
Amen. Yeah, I used to travel for work a bunch, so I was on the road 220 days out of the year.
Oh, shit.
And I would go pick up shows on the road. Like, it was pre-internet where you get on your phone and look, like I'd have to pick up the equivalent of, like, the Metro Times in that city and find out what's going on. Yeah, and so I would go to a ton of solo shows back in those days. Like,
unreal.
That's
love
awesome.
it.
Yeah. It's always fun where does some of your funnest experiences or shows or venues?
So Austin City Limits Music Festival, the first year I went, 2003, I went by myself. I flew down there. I had a coworker that lived in Austin, and he was traveling like me or whatever. He's like, I'll just leave. I'll ship you my keys, back to the office. I'll leave my car at the airport parking lot when you fly in, and you can just grab it and keys to his condo and stuff. But went there, like he was out of town, but 3 days of shows just by myself. But you end up meeting people and stuff like that and kind of connecting or whatever. But
it's amazing. Did you crash your buddy's place and bring back a bunch of people and party?
No,
we won't say that on air.
Right.
Yeah, you did.
I wanted to keep that open because I think the following year there,
right.
Well, that's what Echon, our buddy, he was on last season. He did that for me and Keith. FedExed his keys. We went and stayed at his place in Chicago one weekend. It was gone. Same thing, it's awesome.
But yeah, just different venues in different cities.
Do you remember any of the 2003?
2003 was.
Do you remember anything?
Oh yeah,
sticks out?
It's ridiculous. But Ben Harper and G Love were there. Jack Johnson. The ones that stick out for me were the ones that I had never heard, and just like Spoon. Spoon was just breaking then. And because it was 2003, I caught them. I'm like, oh, yeah, these guys are awesome. Like Robert O'Keen, who had been around for a while, I had never seen him or heard him, and boom, it's like, oh, good stuff. But just, they're like, the bigger, I'm trying to remember who the actual headliners were. Was that REM year? Because they had some, one year I went, it was REM. The next year, I think it was, Coldplay was the headliner, but just, Black Keys, the third year I went down there is when that was 2005, and they were just starting to blow up then.
Unreal. That is great.
It was, I don't know, it was probably before COVID, but it was Black Keys and Cage the Elephant opened up for him. And that was one show I was like, man, I've never seen either one. I really
was that the Joe? Was that?
It could have been. It could even have been at the Joe. It could have been pre-LCA for sure. And I'm like, man, that was one I really wanted to go to, and I just kind of kick myself.
No, Black Keys are a lucky one that I got on the ground floor too. So I caught them at ACL, but then when I came back, maybe I'm out of order, but they were playing up in Toronto Opera House. So it's 500-seat venue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so my buddy and I got our tickets, just drove up, got a hotel, got to see them in this tiny little place. Now it's, LCA if you want to see them.
Right,
so.
Right.
So how many shows have you been to, Paul?
So I'm up to, and I had to get all my old stubs and count them up, and I may have lost some, but I'm pretty sure I'm at 428.
If you haven't noticed, the guy has been to some shows.
Yeah.
So 428.
Yep.
That, because I've put my number somewhere, it's about 200, probably a little bit over. And I used to keep track. That's how this whole thing started, blah, blah, blah. And I love that you did that. And that was the funny thing, because when we were talking in between Blonde Shell and Liz Phair, we were just talking about concerts we went to, and it was every single one we would mention, we were I was there. I was there.
Right.
But we met each other 2.5 months ago. It was somehow we were meant to be on this show.
Yeah.
So, with the spreadsheet, the reason I started doing the spreadsheet is I had saved all my old concert stuff.
Which are right over there.
Right here in this bag. And, but they were starting to fade. The old Hudson's printers that they would dot matrix printers, they were starting to fade. So I'm like, while I can still kind of remember, and the dates are on there, I'm just going to put them all in the spreadsheet. So I put the concert, the date, the venue, and who I went with. So,
nice.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I used to keep track of.
Yeah. Like now in social media days, it's easier because you can go back on your timelines. Like, oh, yeah, 2019, I was here or there. But this is, like I don't have pictures from these shows or anything like that.
And so you mentioned Hudson's. Because you used to actually have to go to a place, give cash or a credit card, and get a physical ticket. So was your go-to? Was Hudson's?
Well, there was there's a place in downtown Flint that would have it by the Capitol Theater. So like the Hudson's would have the huge lines. Everybody like, so and so is going on sale today. We got to get in line or whatever. We'd go over the IMA or the downtown Flint one, and there'd be like 2 people.
Did you used to camp out for them? Or?
The only one I ever camped out was for the Rolling Stones in '89 at the Silverdome. Okay. But we actually went down there and got the tickets at the Silverdome.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, my buddy and I, we had a football game that night, Friday night. Got done with our football game, drove Mom, Dad, we're going to camp out for Rolling Stones tickets. And went down there, camped out in the parking lot, and it was a huge party.
Absolutely.
And then,
that was the best.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
We used to have Showerman's Party Store that was just a few miles down the road, and people
in Livonia, yeah.
Yeah, in Livonia, just camped up along the side of the building. Everyone's just having a good time, and those were the days, man.
Yeah, because nowadays it's like, I got to get on my phone right at 10. I'm waiting in the queue.
Right. You're getting screwed the whole time. The whole time you're in the queue, you're just getting screwed.
Your messages are popping up.
Awesome, I got third level. And at 10:03. That's hilarious.
As opposed to staying in line, you're not getting screwed. You're having a fucking great time.
Exactly.
No, and that was the thing. Like,
knowing you're going to get a ticket.
If you were a couple hundred people back, you'd be kind of sweating it. Like, am I going to get one? Because if it was a big show, you could get screwed.
Yeah.
Because they would go like that. And I mean, that was the thing too. You'd walk up there and people are looking. I want to get these. And, no, just best available. Go.
Yep, exactly. Move it along.
Right. Oh my God. And of course, we mentioned before, the place we used to camp out also sold honey baked hams. And there was one time, there's this huge line, and these old ladies go, "Is this the line for hams?" Get back there, lady. In the line. You ain't getting my ham. So where else you been? What other big shows?
I mean, festival-wise, my first festival was Woodstock 96.
94.
Or 94. Yep, 94, yeah. So I didn't go to the 99 one, but 94 I went. And that
was the good one.
Right, yeah. It was the Mud People, Yeah, but it was like Metallica,
Green Day. Nine Inch Nails. I mean, it was a good mix, and they had a lot of the older, original
Woodstock
like
a Joe Cocker was there. Yeah, it's my only time.
Crosby, Stills, Nash, I think, was there.
Yeah.
So you just had a good mix, and then that 99, it was like all new metal all the time and just break everything because it sucks.
Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I watched the documentary on that one. I'm glad I didn't go that one. They didn't have quite the facility. It was mud just everywhere. Fortunately, my friends that I went with, they're like, we're going to camp on the highest ground we can, and it saved us. Cause
absolutely.
Shit rolls downhill. And it was a mess. But that one also.
Now, where was that one?
It was in near Woodstock, New York. Okay. So yeah,
but it wasn't at the originals.
Right, exactly. But it was a farmland type deal, so it was just all out in the open.
See, my brother-in-law went to 99.
And that was on the Air Force Base.
Yeah, he said it was the worst thing ever because it was just nothing but concrete, no shade, just wide open.
Yeah.
So done completely wrong.
Right, but so that one fell into my lap. So I'm working at the Olive Garden, and my buddies from
endless pasta.
Endless. And my buddies reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, our friend can't go to Woodstock. We have an extra ticket. Awesome. Get all your shifts picked up. Meet us in West Virginia. Tomorrow." So I'm like, all right. So I go in, get all my shifts picked up. I go get my chain jar to roll all my chains so I can have cash to go to the show. Mm-hmm. And head out and, just had a great time. Thank you, Jen Bush, for not being able to go and let me get down there.
The best part is, meet us in West Virginia.
Right, exactly.
And you're coming from Michigan, I assume?
Michigan, yeah. They were coming from Georgia, and so we were kind of meeting up there. And, yeah, but I'm like, yeah.
Whatever.
I'm like, yep.
How old were you?
I was, 20,
Yeah.
let's see, it's 96, so I was 24,
94.
yeah.
94 it was.
Oh, 94, 22, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, when we're in our 20s, yeah, I'll meet you in West Virginia to go back up to New York.
Right.
That was kind of like when we went to New Orleans via Kankakee, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's right on the way.
Mm-hmm. Just go
That
that way.
is a crazy
Gotta
trip.
go to Benny's buddy's house.
Yep.
Crazy trip from beginning to end. Like, as we're driving to New York through Pennsylvania, like, we get lost. Next thing you know, we're in, like, Puxatawny. Like, it just
And just keep reliving it all
exactly. I wish. I wish.
But that was the funny, same thing. Like, we used to drive all over the place. I have no idea where we're going.
Right.
So you just kind of get close, you stop,
Yep, have the trusty atlas in the back.
For something like that, eventually you probably just see the line of cars, and like, all right, we know we're here. Like,
Right.
For New Orleans, like Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Finally, like, you're on, like, the I-10 or something, it is down there, and all of a sudden you're in a parking lot, like, all right, we're in the right spot.
Right.
Must be it.
Yeah. So what else? Because
Yeah,
the only
festival-wise.
festivals I've ever really been to has been the Horde Fest or Lollapalooza.
All right, so
like
you haven't
Horde
gone-
Fest,
no,
not like
yep.
the Bonnaroo or something.
Right,
I always
yeah,
wanted to do Bonnaroo, and now I'm like,
Bonnaroo, yeah, it's tough now. Like, I went twice in the mid-2000s. That's when I first saw the Heartless Bastards was 04 Bonnaroo.
okay.
But yeah, I've done Bonnaroo, and then I went back. So I did it in 04, 05, or 05, 06. And then I went back in, like, 2015. And that was still, like, it was a lot of stuff I was still into, super happy to see.
Right.
But now I look at the lineups and, like, then go a
I feel
different
like that's
direction.
more of a young man's game.
Exactly, yeah. So, like, this year I went to Jazz Fest in New Orleans, and that
What
was
was
just, it was all over the place. You know, like, I saw Ludacris, I saw Tom Jones, I saw Mumford and Sons. Like, it was just,
Really?
it was everything. So,
Love Mumford and Sons.
and then what was cool with that is all the live music venues around town would host bands. So, after hours, because the festival itself only went till 11, and so, or actually 7. It was early. But then you go hit spots afterwards, go get a good meal, then,
Nice.
But yeah, I would definitely go back there. But
How
Bonnaroo
is-
a few times.
Sorry, but how is the crowd there? Like, is it almost a Mardi Gras where it's packed like that?
No,
Or is
it's packed. It's in the middle of a horse racing track. So
okay.
So they've got maybe 5 or 6 stages. The grandstands will have a stage underneath them. They got the big stages at each end. Which is pretty cool is you can walk the whole horse racing track and pick up like 4 or 5 different stages. So you'll be at one section of the track. You can hear, the South Main stage.
Isn't it amazing how it doesn't pick up the other?
Right, there's a time, there's a little in between, like,
you can hear both, but then
Well,
it takes 10
Vegas,
steps.
in the old downtown. When you're walking down
Fremont Street?
Yeah, Fremont
Yeah.
Street. And there was like 3 different bands, but it was like you're only hearing the one you're actually there. It was-
Right, yeah.
I was really surprised how they can
Yeah,
do
just
that.
kind of have the,
It is
shooting
amazing.
towards you.
I've always been interested because me and Neil went to Mardi Gras in 2000. The world was supposed to end, so we really lived it up. And we're still here. We're still here. But
We didn't melt.
that was insane. I would never do another Mardi Gras ever because it was just nasty, dirty.
No, yeah, I'd go
So
down
many
there non-Mardi Gras time
Yeah.
to check out New
But
Orleans.
the Jazz Fest I've always been interested in just because, like you said, they call it Jazz Fest, but there's so many different acts.
Exactly.
and,
When is the Jazz Fest?
That was
typically?
the end of May, or beginning of May.
beginning of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. New Orleans doesn't get terrible weather, but it's probably
May would be
really
nice,
nice.
I
weather.
Yeah. It was
It's probably hot, actually.
Yeah, it was a little steamy, but not too bad. Yeah.
Nice. What else you got coming up?
So my next show is G Love and the Special Sauce. So
Okay.
it's a 30-year anniversary of his first album.
You know what? So I wasn't sure how I felt about these, right? These 30th anniversary, but you know what? I
After Liz
decided?
Phair,
I effing love it.
Yes.
Well, no, because that is our sweet spot. Like
Right.
you said, it brings you back to either college or high school, but it's all right in that time frame. And I'm like, yeah, that was sweet. And then I meant to ask that. How many other shows have you been to that you can remember, for you too, Neil, like where they went through and played the entire album straight through?
A handful, like Sturgill Simpson. He'll do that when he releases a new album. Like at Royal Oak, maybe about 7 or 8 years ago, and just did the new album beginning to end, and then the second set was everything else.
Right, right.
But yeah, not a ton like that. I mean,
I've only seen the Liz Phair was I think the third one. I saw Lou Reed. It was in '92ish. His Magic and Loss album, where one of his co-writers had passed, so he played that whole. But then I was. Like you said, social media is great because you can go back and look at set lists.
Right.
One, they don't have that one. But I was looking all around there. Like, he played that whole album. He played 10 more songs. And, like, just seeing those songs was, like, it was worth it. The other one, though, and I think you might have been with, right, Neil Young.
Neil Young.
It was the Green, whatever album.
Oh, Greendale or something like that?
Yes. That was at Pine Knob.
But it wasn't, like, advertised as that. It was like we showed up and it was like...
I can tell by the look on your face.
And it was like on the screen.
It was terrible. I love you, Neil Young, but it was terrible.
We were pissed. The tree was with us. But yeah, we walked in. It was like on the screens it said, Neil Young will be playing the Greendale album in its full, entirety or whatever. And we were like, what the fuck?
Right.
And Neil Young's got some hit or miss.
Right.
Especially his solo shit.
Yeah.
Right? And then... get through it all. You're like, all right, here we go. And I think he played 3 goddamn songs after that. No, it was like a hurricane, Rockin' in a Free World and something. So it was awesome, but it was like did not make up for that mediocre album. That
there were 3 songs, probably at like 15 minutes a clip. So you got 45 minutes of all these 3 songs.
Those solos are pretty intense in some of this. But yeah, it was. But I like the Liz Phair one. Then the other one actually coming up, a 30th anniversary, is Diggable Planets. I don't know if you guys are over into them.
Yeah.
Kalamazoo State Theater. That's January 25th. It's a Thursday night.
And what was the 30th?
G Love and the Special Sauce.
G Love and the Special Sauce.
And where is that?
The Arc.
The Arc in Ann Arbor. So, I mean, that's like postage stamp size. Place.
Exactly. That's my favorite live music venue in Michigan, easily.
Yeah.
So G Love and Special Sauce opened up for Government Mule, which I went to, and they did Dark Side of the Mule.
So I went to the Dark Side of the Mule this summer at Pine Knob.
What do you think?
I loved it. At first I thought it was just going to be Dark Side of the Moon, like beginning to end, like we were just talking about.
Right.
But they just did all different Pink Floyd, which I'm happy as fuck. Yeah.
And that was so we went, and so actually no, that wasn't. G Love Special Sauce opened up for Jack Johnson.
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's what it was at Pine Knob. It was Government Mule was Avett Brothers.
All right.
So we went to Avett Brothers, which was super cool because hardly anyone's there at Pine Knob opening up. And then Government Mule was playing. I'm like, what the hell is this? This is all Pink Floyd. And it's Warren Hayes or whatever from Allman Brothers.
Right.
So I'm like, what is going on here? And then I'm starting to kind of get into it, but it was like me and my wife and my brother-in-law and some girl he was with, and they were all like, what the hell? So we took off. And how about we all go back to Howell? From Pine Knob. It's right around the corner.
Yeah.
So you got G-Love or anything else?
I do have stuff, but I can't think of them.
I was wondering because you go to a lot of shows. I'm like, that was my question. What are you going to go see? But you don't, other than G Love,
there's a couple other ones, but
nothing you came. That's fine. Let us know.
Oh, for sure.
So I'm super pumped, man. Like I said, me and Neil are going to Big Head Todd and the Monsters at St. Andrews.
Yeah, and that one's definitely on my radar.
That is a Sunday show.
Yeah.
It's January 21st. So like 3 weeks from now. It's going to be sweet. St. Andrews.
Oh, yeah, St. Andrews. Hell yeah.
And then we got Portugal the Man, February 16th. And then we got Porno for Pyros, February 27th, which is now turned, because we were supposed to go in October. So me, Neil, and John Shack were supposed to go to that, and all of a sudden there's a cancellation or postponement, but they refunded everyone their money because they're working on new material, and it's not quite ready yet.
All right.
Which really meant apparently ticket sales weren't doing very well. In the meantime, the bass player is like, all right, I'm in for the new music. I'm not in for the tour. So now they've relaunched it as a farewell tour. But it's Perry, was it Peter DiStefano on guitar, Stephen Perkins drum, and they got Mike Watt back on bass.
Nice. Heck yeah.
So I'm like, that's super sweet.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because he played with him for a while, so that's a certain point, and then, like I said, bass player was like, I'm out, and then all of a sudden they did like this pop-up for their new music in LA, and Mike Watt was playing, which fueled like the rumor, and then they just confirmed that, so I'm pretty excited. Main floor.
Yeah.
Main floor at the Fillmore. I'm so excited for that.
That show got canceled from a Friday night
to a Tuesday.
To a Tuesday night. I'll still go and see it.
I'll still go. Yeah. Well, I will say it has been awesome having you on, Paul.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me.
And it's amazing, like we said, how many times we've been at the same show, and I can't wait to see how many more times we'll be at the same show.
Right.
But the best part is we'll actually know it through social media.
Yep.
Exactly. I'll hit you up, too, because you're kind of on the way now. I'm coming from Fenn, so I'm like, hey, let's meet at the parking ride.
That's what I was saying. Let us know what shows you're going to.
That's we'll probably the beauty of it. And I'm not going to lie, not that I've been an anti-social media guy, but it's just like I've seen it just take up so much time. But now it's like, now that I've been starting to use them, I see the benefits of that. You know, like going to Liz Phair, like it was cool to be able to just catch up with you for 10, 15 minutes. And normally I would have never known you were even there.
Yeah, and like at our age, it's tough to get people to go to shows. Like, I got my kids' activities. You know, I got to work in the morning or whatever. So, yeah, just like I have actually a group called the Good Call Paul Concert Crew.
Oh, that's what I meant to ask you about that. So, yeah, your group on Facebook. What is it?
It's called Good Call Paul Concert Crew. And it's just our local people like, hey, these shows are coming up. Who wants to go? And then, you know, just kind of getting support. Like, so my buddy Jim, I call him Concert Buddy Jim. So like we were playing drop-in hockey maybe like 15, 16 years ago, and afterwards we're getting beers and just start talking about music, and we named like 6 or 7 shows that both of us had been in like in previous years. Like, oh dude, we need to exchange numbers just because like he's a single guy, no kids, so it's like Concert Buddy. It's like he's up for almost any show, because he likes more the folk, the rock or whatever. But like this last summer, I'm like, hey man, Wu-Tang Clan, you want to go check it out? And he's like, I'd like to. I'm game, and boom, we're down.
Where was that at?
That was at Pine Knob.
No shit.
Yeah, they killed it too.
Did they? Did you have good? Did you get like pavilions?
I just got lawn. Yeah,
okay, just wondering. But
it
still sounded good.
Yeah. Yeah, because hip hop shows, it's hit and miss with the sound, but yeah, they had to dial it in.
Dang. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That was just this past summer?
Was that? Yes, last summer.
What does the spreadsheet tell you?
Yeah. I feel like it might have been last summer, like 22.
Dang, dude.
Wu-Tang, September 22.
Nice.
Unreal.
That's Vito checking in.
Actually, you tell Vito, I said wow, Wu-Tang, that'd be sweet. That's one thing I don't see many rap shows.
Right, and there's not there. They don't.
I did go Tyler the Creator. When I took my kids, it was awesome. It was a really good show.
Yeah, like that.
Like you said, it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah,
but, it was him, one man on the stage, 2 stages, and just it was really good. Like I said, Diggable Plans is coming up. I really want to go see that on the 25th, Kalamazoo.
25th of what? January?
Yeah.
Oh, why so soon?
I know. I know. 4 days after Big It's like they said, you go through those waves, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's like, holy crap! I got like 6 shows in the next 3 weeks.
Right. No, I like this last year. I had like
2 months, 2 or 3
and it's like,
oh my god, I'm having withdrawals. When am I getting another one?
Or back-to-back nights. That killed me a couple times. Like I had my show, but then my oldest like, hey dad, we're going to this show too. I'm like, oh, that's the same. That's the next day.
I'll go, I guess.
I know we did Pumpkins on September 6th, Greta Van Fleet September 8th, and then I was going to Indiana for Pearl Jam on the 10th.
Oh yeah.
On the way down, they canceled it. So, but I'm like, I haven't done that shit since like.
No, bring the earplugs. I keep them on my keychain nowadays. Got the earplugs there, so I don't forget them.
Do you wear them all the time, every show, or just?
It all depends on the venue and how loud it is.
And
exactly.
Probably too, right?
Yeah, like the Arc, I don't need them, but other shows. Yeah.
Reminds me, actually, I meant to bring this up. Ben Harper.
Yes.
He never brought out an acoustic guitar.
No.
I was kind of surprised at that because when you think about his Live from Mars album, that was him and the Innocent Criminals.
Right.
And I mean, it was heavy. It was half and half, really.
Right.
And it was later on. I'm like, the next day, I'm like, holy shit, he never which was fine by me, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, and it's almost like some of his songs, the way he played, the electric was more mellow, I'll say.
Right.
He seemed more mellow this show.
Yeah, I'd agree, yeah.
Even on some of the slide songs, you know, like Faded, he kind of got into it a bit, but even more of that was kind of a trippy,
more
like psychedelic
rock,
which was cool too, because I've never really seen that from him.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a kind of a totally different Ben Harper show of what I've seen before.
Yeah, which is great, because you don't want the same thing every time. Like, I got to see him at Hill Auditorium one time, and it was just him on the stage. And he just had like a half circle of instruments behind him, and he would just go grab one, do a song, go put it back, you know, go grab the next one, do a song.
It was sweet.
It was incredible.
Well, at this show in Royal Oak, at one point, he stepped in front of the microphone and like sang this song, which to me sounded amazing.
Yeah.
We were right there. How it sounded way in the back, who knows?
Right.
But I was like, wow, I mean, the dude has pipes. You
know?
He's definitely got it, so.
Pipes and good stories, like just real good stories, like the Leonard Cohen story he was telling about Leonard Cohen just floating through the instrument store and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then, he played Hallelujah. Yep. I think I stepped outside for that one. All right, man. So, it's been awesome having you on.
Yeah, Paul. Thank you very much for coming.
And to be honest, I could see us having you on like a half a dozen more times before this whole thing is all said and done. But we will definitely stay in touch, whether through Facebook, through your Facebook group about shows coming up, because we got a full docket. Make sure we let you know what's coming up, whatever you're going to, and we'll probably check it out. But it's been awesome having you on. Neil, I can't believe we're back, dude. Season 2.
We did it.
We just fucking killed another one. We just fucking slaying them left and right, dude.
That's how we do.
But no, thanks for listening, everyone out there, and we'll check you out with the next one.
All right.
See you.